The Civil Society Roundtable is one of the highlights of the civil society programs held each year at the IMF World Bank annual meetings. For this year alone, there were about 600 CSOs, with a great majority from Washington, D.C., and quite a few from the Africa regions, to dialogue with the executive directors who also represent the government at the bank and the IMF. John Garrison is a senior communications officer at the World Bank and also the leader of the civil society team. Currently, he provides advice to senior management, reach out to international civil society networks, and disseminate information on the bank.
Some of the issues that came up, for instance, was the benefits of hydropower versus use of coal, for instance. The review of the bank's environmental and social safeguard policies, because a lot of the CSOs want to ensure that the safeguard policies are not weakened, and that the bank, when it's funding projects around the world, makes sure that the environment isn't harmed and the poor people aren't harmed. Also issues related to some specific projects that the bank is funding. For instance, there's a project in Lesotho, for instance. It's a public-private partnership project that built a really state-of-the-art hospital, and so there's some questions about how much it cost and how many people it's benefiting. There was also issues related to educational funding around the world, to ensure that the World Bank is continuing to fund educational projects.
Having said this, he indicated that two issues required immediate attention from the bank, that is, the review of the bank's safeguard policies and a pipeline project in Chad and Cameroon, which the bank financed years ago. This year's session was a very important moment for both CSO representatives and senior members of the bank, as it was devoid of any confrontation and demonstration.
Overall, I think this has been very helpful, because years ago, we used to have a lot of street protests, CSOs protesting at the World Bank, against the World Bank. In 2000, we had 30,000 people out in the streets. Today, we don't have that anymore, partly because we welcome the CSOs to come into the institution and to dialogue with our leaders from the government, the executive directors, or the senior managers. And so that's a positive advancement, because we like to say that and oftentimes we still don't agree on things, but we've agreed to disagree in a more respectful and agreeable manner.
In all, 60 different countries were represented by 12 different executive directors, whilst 120 CSO representatives were also present at the meeting. Rebekah Awuah reporting.